What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am always your host, Edwin. Where do all fights start? Round one. Damn, I wish y'all were hearing these sound effects, but I probably doubt that you are. So, fight fans, we got a lot to talk about. We got this interesting fight that I think is very interesting versus Ray Muratalla versus Andy Cruz. And I don't hear a lot of people really talking or like the mainstream guys really pushing these fights. And I find that a little like pushback. I can understand with Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson because both of those guys are not really too good in front of the camera. You know, you know, Teal's been known to say off the wall shit, and Shakur Stevenson is not that, like camera, he doesn't have those one liners, he has the looks, the smiles, everything, but he just doesn't know how, like when he gets in front of a camera, nah, he's a boxer. He's not an actor. Shakur Stevenson, he's not an actor. He's a fighter. And sometimes fighters don't know how to act. So, fight fans, we're going to break down this fight right here. We're going to talk about a lot of these fights upcoming, these cards. So, lock in, subscribe to the channel. Listen, do me a favor, hit these thumbs up. We're almost at 5,000 subscribers. Help me get to the next point. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, support the videos. And, like always, let's hop right into this episode. Woo! We already coming in hot and ready. MJ, listen, and new. He ain't holding back no punches. He's confident. Why are you so confident? Why are you so confident? MJ, the family 23. Oh, that's supposed to say like Michael spelled with the J. Michael family 23. That's slick. Yo, listen, why do you think that he's gonna be in new? What makes you think that this Cuban dude with 6 professional fights can come in and rock with the champion of the world at 135? Let's break it down. Let's break it down, brother. Check this out. Now, when we think about Cuban boxing and we think about the legacy of Cuba, shit, you can't talk boxing without that country. The problem is that back, I think in like the 1950s, 1960s, when the country was taken over by their warlord, and you couldn't leave the island, and America cut ties with them. It was like they were trapped in a moment in time till now. Well, they're still trapped there, right? Their last cars on the island were like 1957 Chevys, and they are a type of people that are resilient. It made them become innovators. You should see some of the works these guys do with a washer machine, a microwave, and a refrigerator. They'll make you a Lambo. I swear to God. And it'll look like one too. It ain't gonna be like some put together. It's gonna look like a damn Lambo, right? They are very, very resourceful people. They have been put on the island and left to their own devices, basically. So through boxing, a lot of the men found that as an outlet to go to the Olympics, see another part of the world. I can imagine if you were raised on one spot, lived and died in one spot, and your grandfather's stories were he never left the island. Boxing probably would give you an opportunity, or baseball would give you a sport, would give you an opportunity to go. Amongst Cuban fighters who's the best Cuban fighter in the world. That's a difficult one. That, my friend, is a difficult one because a lot of their records and a lot of their fighters, we don't got no knowledge of. It's basically hearsay. This guy telling me, was anybody there in Cuba to from us the boxing, the pro boxing, like anybody can they certify that? No. So you might hear of the Cuban ones that defected, came to America. Some of them are like big legends. Like if you think about Cuba and gold medals, that's the only country I think. Let me back that up, right? Because I like to speak with facts. But getting 2 gold medals in Cuba is common. There are a lot of fighters in Cuba, amateur, that won multiple gold medals. When you talk about a Cuban fighter winning 2 gold medals out there, that's not that big. But when it comes out here to America, we're like, oh, 2 gold medals, Vasily shit. Wow. Not knowing, like most people, like the casuals, that they trapped on that island. That's what they do. Some 2, 3 medals, whatever, 2 golds, 1 silver type shit career. You know, they had great, like, where does Andy Cruz, when it's all said and done, where would he be ranked amongst Cuban fighters? Where would he be put? Now, with 6 professional fights, that would be pretty impressive. His age is what concerns me. He's kind of going to be like forced in a situation. It's not going to be, now I'm going to say this. And I'm asking you to read between the lines. Try to figure this out. Because if you want to talk it about, we're gonna get back here. Trust me. He's gonna be in the situation Amanda Serrano found herself in, where they found success late in age in their career. Although Amanda Serrano was already a 7-division world champion before Jake Paul found her, she was older. That's my point. Are we seeing that if he wins this belt, he has a potential winning others, that we'll be seeing him fighting real late in his career, Andy Cruz? Because his star status is not going to come. Shit, he won't even have 10 professional fights where he can reach a height. You understand? 10 fights. Andy Cruz should be retired and packed up out of the game within 16 fights. 18 fights max. You're going to see the quickest rise and descent out of boxing. Who reminds you of that? Where have you seen this movie before? Vasily Lomachenko. What, he retired with 18 fights? One of the quickest rise and descents in boxing. 1 minute Vasily was there, the next, gone. 2 gold medals. You starting to see a pattern? In some cases, those gold medals, that took 5 years out of Vasily's career in pro boxing. You understand? But I can't cry over spilled milk. I want to see what Andy Cruz does. Andy Cruz is in this situation. Doesn't matter who came before, who left, yesterday, or how long your career is going to be. Let's see what you can do. Show me what you got. Right? And the stage is set. We got a night of boxing. Andy Cruz and Raymond Muratalla about to square up. We gonna get a squabble. Oh, we gonna get a squabble. Did you see the face down? Yo, Muratalla looks offended. Did you see him with his IBF belt? He was like this. That man was looking into Andy Cruz's eyes with the belt. He made sure that Andy saw the belt. He was like, he was looking at, he was so mad. I swear to God, he was cross-eyed. He was like this. He was looking crazy. Andy Cruz, likewise, was looking crazy right back at him, giving him the same energy. Like Andy was looking at him like, yeah, keep it polished for me. Keep it polished. It looked real good, but it's going to look better over here. He was looking crazy. And Muratalla, he looks like the shit talking and all social media got back to him. He looks mad. That man, I know when a man looks offended. You know what I mean? I know when a man is being like overlooked. You mother, who the fork and spoon do you guys think you are? You're going to have Andy Cruz on Las Vegas odds, the favorite? I'm the champion. Muratalla talking. That's my impression of Muratalla. You dirty. You guys don't respect my gangster? What? Oh, 6-fight, 2 gold medalist. Cuban guy gonna come out and, okay, Las Vegas. Okay. I would be offended. Huh? Imagine that. You're the champion and they got him the favorite with 6 fights. Bro, man, listen. A dude with 6 fights, you got more knockouts than his combined fights and knockouts. Add them together. Like, let's cheat a little. Let's add like the knockouts and 6, 9. He's got 17 knockouts. Muratalla. Bro, and he's the champ. I would be pissed. I would be pissed. I'll be tight. I gotta admit. But Muratalla, man, you can see it. You can see it in his eyes. This is gonna be a squabble right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be a fight, man. The fight itself is interesting in a lot of ways, right? Because I was just talking about where does Andy Cruz gonna like when it's all said and done, where is he gonna rank among Cuban fighters? And more as Muratalla, where would he rank among 135 pounds or 130, right in that area amongst Mexican fighters? Jesus Christ. I don't know if he beats those guys. No. Barrera? No. There's a lot of Mexican fighters at 135 that reign supreme, bro. For 130, 135 in history, where does he rank among the best Mexican fighters? And like that, not Mexican fighters all time. That's a pedestal. That's too much. I'm not going to put that kind of pressure on the kid, right? Let's just count him for his weight division, 135. And how do you rank among men from your country in the past? You know what I'm saying? As Mexicans, not everybody else like that. You know what I'm talking about, right? So, yeah. And what's up, guys? How you doing, Bull Rider? Bobos? No, that's Bobos. I read it fast. Andy Cruz is wishing his career will be like Loma. Andy wishes his career would be like Loma's? Of course he would. He's got the same clock on him, and he's already losing against Loma. See, Loma became champion in 4. He got a title shot in 2 and lost Loma. We know that. And then he got another title shot in 4 fights and became a world champion. So Andy got a shot to do it in 6. So if Andy can pull it off in 6, he's 2 fights behind Loma. Now, Andy, what he has to do is what Loma never did. He can tie Loma. Let's say Andy goes straight after the other champions at 135. In a good world, Andy wins this fight, right? Okay. Let's say Shakur was going up to Tio. So if Shakur beats Tio, he's going to vacate that 135. So now, let's say fantasy, where this is hypothetical. Don't hold me to this. I said hypothetical. There'll be some guys say that. And round one said this. Listen, let's say Andy Cruz wins the IBF off Raymond Muratalla. Let's say Shakur Stevenson vacates it. Don't say nothing to nobody. Don't say I said anything about this. Make sure any boxing people ain't watching. I'm not supporting cheating because I believe we should play by the rules. History tells me boxing does otherwise. Lomachenko fought for a vacant belt after he won his first belt. In the law of boxing, no champion can fight for a vacant world title. You're already a champion. You're supposed to let somebody else fight for the vacant title. They win it, then you fight them for it. With Lomachenko only having so many fights, 6 fights, 7 fights, was it? They brought up a guy from another division to fight Lomo for a vacant title when he was already a champion. That's breaking so many boxing laws. You're basically cheating right there. You've cut so many corners and then he won the belt. Yes, the higher ups, top rank, shit like that, they pulled a few strings. Rightfully so, they can get away with it by saying Loma's a two-time gold medalist. He's this old. He's got a star status like this. It was small. They try to say like this. It was more like that at the time, to tell you the truth, if I'm being honest. And I am, right? So when I think of Andy Cruz's situation, that's exactly what they would have to do. Now I would be promoting and telling you, yeah, let's cheat. That's why I kind of felt foolish saying it. Do you understand? Because by law, he can't fight for Shakur if he was to win the IBF. He cannot compete for that WBC. He's got to let somebody win it in fair competition, then fight them. Now, it is in his right. He could fight another champion, anyone else. So let's just think. Where's Tank Davis on that fake story? They came on my show and said, round one is bringing fake news. Tank Davis doesn't have an arrest warrant. They're not looking for him. Really? So that WBA article that they reduced him down to a champion in recess, so to speak, because he's on the run? So who is spreading fake news? I'm not sure. Is this mic working? Yo, hit that like button for me. Yo, listen. So, like, okay, he has other options. There's 3 other belts. Well, 2 other belts. He would have one and he can't fight for the WBC. He'd have the WBO and the WBA, right? Okay. At 135. Okay. So, what are we looking like? Abdullah Mason is not gonna Abdullah Mason will fight Andy Cruz. No, well, maybe not. Maybe shit. Whoa. Yeah, Andy's record would fool you. He's a lot better than what his record says. That's why he's fighting Raymond Muratalla. That's why Las Vegas got him a higher odds. Because on the outside looking in, let's just say somebody casually with their girlfriend out on a Saturday stroll. Hey, honey, look at this. Let's take in the fights, right? And he's like, yeah, babe. He's trying to impress her for like the first time. And he like became all of a sudden a historian of boxers, but he can only name two guys. You know that guy, right? But he wants to impress her, right? And she's like, oh my God, look. What's this guy's name? Raymond Muratalla versus Andy Cruz. Let's put some money on it, baby. And he's like, sure thing, right? And the guy's like, he's gonna be a man. She's like, what are the odds bets? She got the guy with 6 fights is fighting the guy with 23 professional fights. She's like, I'm going to put my money on the guy with 6 fights. Now, the boyfriend's going to be like, ha, 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 ha. You don't know nothing about boxing, honey. In my day, when Mike Tyson, like, he'll name like the most famous boxer, Mike Tyson, okay? Reign Supreme. I know boxing, honey. I'm putting my money on the guy with 23 fights, right? Neither of them know boxing, right? But I said all of that to say, when you look at his record, you're going to be like 6 fights. It's going to be on the list of betting odds. 6 fights. Who the fuck is this guy? Right? You're going to assume it's a cherry pick. You're going to assume that the champion's taking one of those fights in between fights. It's probably what you're going to think. Like, oh, look at this. Honey, look at this. 6 fights. Yeah, put your money on the other guy. Bro, and you couldn't be wrong. Right? So it's a lot. He's a lot more dangerous than a 6 fight round, 6. His record doesn't tell the story. No. If you didn't know anything about Andy Cruz, you'd be confused as fuck, boy. Yeah. Yeah. But Las Vegas is not. And that's a disrespect to the champion, man. I think Raymond Muratalla has fought his fair share of competition. I'm not going to sit here and say that, who fought the better. Because to tell you the truth, right? You guys want to take a look at this with me together? I don't, we can put this shit up right now, right? So here, boom. We're gonna put up Raymond Moratalla's box rec, and we're gonna put up Andy Cruz's box rec, and we're gonna take a look at both fighters. I'm gonna put Raymond Muratalla up first. Here, boom. Check it out. All right. This is the man right here in question. Bam. 23 fights, 17 knockouts, no losses. Okay. He has 113 bouts. He has a 73% knockout ratio. He started his career in 2016. Okay. He is 29 years old. 5'8", has a 72-inch arm reach. And as you can see right here on the top ranking, he is a 5-star fighter. In this division, out of American fighters, there are 306 registered American fighters. He is ranked number 3. He is considered number 3 amongst American fighters at 135 pounds. In the 135-pound weight division, there are 2,664 registered fighters. Worldwide, Muratalla is considered the number 3 fighter in that division. And this is BoxRec's ranking. Okay, that's how you read that. Go straight down. Alias Danger. Raymond Danger Muratalla. Peligro. My name is Peligro. Yo, listen, check it out. So, this is Raymond Muratalla's career, typical standard boxer start. 4-round fight. He scheduled a 4-round fight. He knocked the guy out in the first round. The first guy Raymond Muratalla ever fought had 13 straight losses and no wins. This guy, wait a minute. Tell me this guy didn't get stopped 13 straight times or some shit like that. That would be hilarious, right? I got to look him up. Hold up. I'm curious. Hold on. No! Yo, my man, to this day, ain't never won a fight. He lost 25 straight times and he got knocked out 21 straight times. But when Muratalla fought him, that's not Muratalla's fault. Muratalla had into the fight 0-0-0. When Muratalla fought this dude with only 13 losses, yeah, he had 13 losses. He was searching for that win, but that's 13 lost experience right there, right? So Muratalla, you got to think about it. He went into this fight 0-0-0. So technically, with your 13 losses, you're actually better than Muratalla because he got 0-0-0. He don't got no stats. Your minus 13 actually beats him. So technically, yeah. All right. But damn, my man never lost that. Talk about maybe you might want to consider a new profession. You know what I'm saying? Just maybe. I'm you know, that's it's up to you, Every warrior to himself. But anyway, back to Raymond Muratalla. He had a basic standard and he fought 4-round fights, quickly stepping up to 6-round fights, then progressing slowly to 8-round fights, 6, 8-round fights, 8-round fights, and then to 10. This, my friends, is a good boxing career and record. Not a lot of 12-round experience, but this is, this is perfect. This is perfect. That is like, yes, it is. If you were to talk, man, I would use his resume, the list of people he fought, everything to explain the average boxing career, the way you're supposed to do it. The special ones do special shit, and win belts in 6 fights and shit. But in 4 fights, but if this is the standard right here, this is the way it's supposed to go. Maybe up here, maybe one of these 2 fights with Tevin Farmer could have been like and it was for WBO, NABO light vacant title, North American Boxing Federation light title. They could have made that a 12-round fight for him. And it would have gave him more experience. Take Tevin Farmer 12. He went to 10. He won in a unanimous decision. You feel me? Perez, Campos. I mean, you could have. Hold on. Problem with this, I just want to remind you that the WBA titles will not show up in BoxRec. Okay. He lost to Brian Norman Jr., Alex Rocha. My man been in there with some people. Flores. That was another one, a different one. Wow. Joseph Diaz. And he went from Brian Norman Jr. to Joseph Diaz to Raymond Muratalla, from Alexis Rocha. Yeah, okay. Okay, Muratalla. I see you. All right. Andy Cruz, man, he's just a different fighter. And like I said, when you're going to see this record for the first time, or if you're familiar with Andy Cruz, I'm not sure which one it is, right? You're going to see 6-3, 6 fights, 3 knockouts, 50% knockout ratio. Amongst Cuban fighters, this is the problem with the Cuban, and it's hard to rank him among Cuban fighters. It's really hard because you can see right under his flag right here, he is ranked among Cuban fighters 2, but there's only 9 Cuban fighters in the division. There's only 9. You seen how Muratalla's, what was it? He was like number 3 out of like 300 and something Mexican registered fighters in the division. It's when you're 2 out of 9 people, that's not that impressive. There's only 9 of you. You get it? And look at, he's ranked in the world in that division. It's the same division that Muratalla's in. Remember, there was 2,664 registered fighters. He's ranked number 14. If we go backwards to where we were just at, hold on. Right here, Muratalla. Let's go up. Same stats. Remember, see right here on the top? 2,000. It's the same division. Oh, come on, mouse. Where are you? I lose the little wiggly thing sometimes. The little wiggly thing. Okay, over here. Let's stay still. What are you doing? Oh, there you are. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Look. Look, guys. There's 306 American fighters. Muratalla is registered as an American fighter, not a Mexican one, right? So there's 3 out of American fighters, there's 306. For him to be third out of 306 and you be second out of what? 9? I think that the boxing, that's why a lot of boxing situations are not the same. They're not the same. Okay. And I think that most of the people that are betting on this particular fight, you got to be honest with yourself. You really don't know much about Andy Cruz and the pros. You really don't. He only got 6 fights, so this is going to be short and sweet. Check it out. Here we go. Just like I like my women, short and sweet. Listen, check it out. Boom. Juan Carlos Burgos, 10-round fight. This is not your typical boxing, pro boxing career resume. You don't start your pro debut with a 10-round fight. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have no 4-round fights, no 6-round fights, no 8-round fights. On day 1, 10-round fight. That's how you got to judge him. See? Experience. How polished was he when he finally turned pro? Don't be fooled by his boxing record. Let's see what he did. That's how you have to judge him. And these are the 6 men he fought. His first guy he ever fought had a record of 35 fights and 7 losses. It's a pretty good record on day 1, if you ask me. Okay? That's some crazy shit right there. Then his next fight, he fought a guy with 26 wins and only 5 losses. Right? His next fight, 14-2. Right? The next one, 30-6. Antonio Moran. Omar, 21-1. 17-1. And now Muratalla is 20-0. You notice what you guys saw, what I just saw here, right? You guys saw what I just saw. You notice a pattern, right? He ain't never fought a guy with a losing record or even close to a losing record. All his guys on day 1 of walking into the new job, he fought all the middle best dudes right away. No one he's ever fought was even close to be considered a loser. This guy had 1 loss. What was that year? You're fighting a guy 20-1, 17 what? With only 4 fights? He don't got much fights. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4? Yo, listen. Who's doing that? Whose record looks? And then he already got a 12-round fight in on your ass. He went 5, but he has shown he went the distance. He went here 10 right here with Omar. He went 10 rounds. He's, he gassed out a little bit. We seen it. But damn, okay, you might have gassed out a little bit, right? Or, showed that, signs of fatigue, or we saw your performance going down a little bit, Andy. But goddamn, with 3 fights in, 4 fights in, 5 fights in, sometimes you can get lost in how you're judging him. Yeah, it's confusing because it's like he's young in the sport, but real ahead of the curve when it comes to a prospect fighter. When you talk about prospects in boxing, what do? You work your way up the ladder, right, to become a contender. So when you look at Andy Cruz as a prospect, that can be, as you can see, his record. He ain't never fought anyone close to a losing record. He came in right away whooping these dudes' asses. And he got so many people's respect. I remember the day Andy Cruz walked up to 2, not 1, but 2 American badass professional boxers that just before the Andy Cruz fight, they were in the background somewhere saying Andy ain't this, F that amateur losses, right? Keyshawn Davis and Shakur Stevenson were in attendance at an Andy Cruz fight, right? What happened to all the blah, 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 what you had to say? Huh? I'm here at your fight. They went there trying to show their presence. Andy Cruz got out the ring, walked right up to him and put his hand out. One of them didn't give him dap and the other one did. They both had a smile. And Andy stepped off like, if you had something to say it now. Say it to my face. Crickets. Now that, my friend, let me tell you something. You both street wise. To have both of you, not one, but both of you. He was like, this is your beef. You say something. It was like little bro, big bro. How you gonna act when he come? Oh, you shook his hand? All right. I ain't shaking his hand. Yo, he talking to you. He ain't talking to me. Yo, it was like we was on a high school playground all over again. Like you do some shit like, knock that off my shoulder and we fighting. Go ahead, knock it off my shoulder and we fight. Not until he knocks it off. Did it fall by itself? Hold up, put it back. Nah. Knock that off my shoulder and it's on. We went back to fucking high school playground. Like they gelled up, bro. It is what it is. You're not going to go to a man's fight. You went to his, like, I went to go see you fight. Okay, there was other people in the fight card, yeah. But you knew he was going to be there. They was asking you mad questions about him whooping your ass in the Olympics more than once. And qualifying rounds and all that shit. He gets out the ring, steps. So when they look at this kid, I can see where, yeah, guys is like, yo, Edwin, Andy Cruz can fight. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, he kind of looks like a chameleon, if you ask me. Right? Because he's starting to look more and more like Jerron Boots Ennis. Right? Right? But that's a good thing in a way. Right? If you can come out in one fight, look like Ennis, perform like him in this amount of time, then as a student, you're learning fast. Because you see, you didn't have to build Andy Cruz. When he came into boxing, he didn't need no audition. Just throw him right into the fire, sink or swim. With his age that I showed you, he's 30 years old, Andy Cruz. Now, uh, it's either now or never. And as a promoter in the business side of boxing, because I always remind my boxing public, my here at Round One Sports Talk, what is boxing, guys? It's a business disguised as a sport. So it's typically money first, right? What can the promoters and how can we cash in on our fighter? But as well, you yourself as a fighter, you cash in. So what they did with Andy Cruz is they pushed him fast. They started him with 10-round fights, quick, and his competition, I have to admit, is pretty strong. In comparison to Raymond Muratalla, yeah, look, Raymond Muratalla, we saw Raymond Muratalla's record. You know, we looked at the list of his fighters. And did we do that? Yeah, I think we did, right? We went down. I showed you he fought Tevin Farmer. You know, that win is not marinating good because of what Schofield did to him. I mean, that was impressive. And then we look at William Cepeda, and now we're like, well, maybe William Cepeda wasn't that guy, you know? And then you look at William Cepeda, how he hit Shakur Stevenson a lot, you know, due to the fact that he had help because Shakur was standing in front of him, right? But nah, Raymond Morataya has you know, Campos, uh uh, uh I don't know which one is more impressive of a win. Um, I mean, it's opinionated. It really is. It really is opinionated because I'm breaking it down in my head. And I was about to argue the fact that, you know, he's got, you know, the zero, but uh it's opinionated because Raymond Morataya's I think his competition was stiffer consistently. It's gonna be opinionated. I know where I'm gonna go. I'm already fighting in my head with it, right? It's gonna be yeah, but I think that on an average for only 6 fights, yeah, his competition was probably a bit more stiffers than Raymond Morataya. Yeah. I'm not gonna even sit here and make a case because I quickly just went through the whole process where I was about to put guy versus guy type shit. You can't do that. Raymond's gonna lose, but only 6 fights. It's difficult. It's difficult. This is difficult. This is gonna be a banger, bro. They are gonna go out there and slug it out. Now, if I was talking about breaking down the fight, both fighter styles, what both fighters can do. Um, Morataya is slightly bigger than Andy, right? How the fuck he makes this 10-pound rehydration claw, I have no idea. Other people are saying that right after this fight, win, lose, or draw, he's leaving. And I'm letting Raymond Morataya know, like we did Fantasy Island with Andy. Well, then let's do it with Raymond Morataya, right? And Fantasy Island, you know, hypothetical in a if good case scenario, right? He wins. He stays and still, right? Okay. If he was to unify the belt with any other champion and he wins, you can say bye-bye to that 10-pound rehydration claw. You won't have to obey by it. You know what I mean? Well, you would also have whatever belt you win first, you would want to represent that one in the forefront of your belts. It's got to be the one first. And then that 10 pound, you don't have to do it, Raymond Moratalla. So if you want to just stay in the 135 without the rehydration and somehow get out of that, if you unify, that eliminates it. You don't have to rehydrate because that other champion doesn't have to do the 10-pound rehydration claw on that night he fights you. So there's ways that he can stay at 135 if, in fact, what's holding him from continually being a champion 135 is that rehydration claw. You know what I mean? Because he's a big dude, Raymond Moratalla. I don't know how he's making this 135 shit. I don't know, man. And then making the rehydration. Now, I want to let you in on the rules too of the IBF, right? Okay, if you're not familiar, you can make the weight 9 o'clock the next morning. You got to be under 10 pounds. You got to be like 9.5, 9 point, whatever, but you can't exceed 10 pounds the next morning. Once you make that weight at 9 o'clock, that's it. You owe them nothing. You can go eat, drink, rehydrate, everything. And you have a window of about, I don't know, uh, 19 hours or some shit, right? And because you figure you're not going to be fighting until like 11 o'clock at night from 9 in the morning, whatever that amount, right? And then what you do is you try to like eat, double the meals, and put on some weight. So typically, after the fighter weighs in, he'll gain about between 4 and 6 pounds. 4 and 6 pounds, right around there. With the IBF, what that does is it ensures no weight bullying. That's what the claw is there for. That you're not going to blimp up 20 pounds or you're going to be in a big guy just shrinking weight to beat up little guys in a division because you can't survive in your own weight. There are a lot of fighters like that in the real weight that they walk around in, they can't fight in that weight. They'll get knocked out. Guys that are their same weight, the ones that can really crack, would knock them out. So what do? They shed 20 pounds, go down and fight little guys in order to bully them, be a weight bully. The IBF is one of the few belts that put that in. The WBA did it on some for a little while, and then they took it off. I don't know, but that ensures no weight bullying. But there's ways around it. Like I said, but that's why Felix Trinidad and fighters like that, he was a natural 147 pounder. He was just a skinny dude that was fighting in his walk around weight, like Subir Matias. Guys that were like true to the weight division. So what Felix chose to do was make title defenses on his belt because it guaranteed at least the guy that I'm fighting you on in fair competition, you have to be this weight. You see? What has he got? 19 title defenses in the division? So, yeah. Yeah, I could see why guys like to certain guys. And then there's certain guys that fight for other belts because they want to blimp up after the fight. There was a rule and a big debate about whether or not that there's actually a rule that says that if you come in over X amount of weight, that they shouldn't let you fight. But apparently, when you go to look up such rules, who makes that rule? The city or the country? I guess it's up to the boxing association of that state. They might not have that rule in California. They might have it in California. They might not have it in New York. They might have it in Texas. They might not have it in Boston. You see? So I'm not sure if, like, when people call Devin Haney a weight bully, right? And once upon a time, they had this like, you know, debate about changing rules to protect the safety of the fighters. Okay. In combat sports, sports in general, they're always looking to ways to protect the athlete. In football, you see them with these ridiculous helmets on. They're called like practice squad helmets. They're made out of like foam. And my wife, the other day, I was just watching like one of my first Patriots games, and she was like, "Oh, look at the special kid on the," and I'm like, "Oh my god, did you just say that?" I'm like, she said, she goes, "Yeah, but the other team got one too." And on the defense, there was one guy with it. She said, "So do all teams do this?" And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, "He's not special. Like, get out of here, right?" I'm like, oh my god, right? So, but the NFL has noticed that concussion protocols in these men that played NFL football later on, they were when they did violent acts or depression and suicides, and they started doing CAT scans on them. They started noting that every time they were like hitting that their frontal lobe, that's where your decision making comes from, your happiness, all that comes from the front. So that's been damaged by concussions and things like that. And back in the day, like back in the 70s, 60s, 80s, the NFL was a real fucking your modern day Roman Coliseum, right? They was clotheslining each other, smacking helmet to helmet. You would see guys' helmets, face helmets, get stuck together. It was crazy. So a lot of men, after their death and they passed away in the NFL, they donated their bodies and organs, and some of them were families were asked, "Can we study your husband?" And they came back and they realized that they took a lot of hits, right? And it's similar to boxing. It's the same thing. um you're not designed to take punches to the head, so the sport is always looking to improve, to look for ways of protecting the fighter. They'll make different mouth guards with like springs in them and shit to like reduce the damage. They'll make winning boxing gloves, and a lot of fighters have adopted winning boxing gloves, such as Naoya Inoue, Tank Davis, of course. Tank Davis wears winning boxing gloves. Uh, I think who else? Well, Nonito Donaire won the night in Japan because of him. So I wouldn't say he wears them like religiously, but there's a lot of men that are big punchers that wear winning boxing gloves, and that's to protect the fighter and shit from like damage and shit. So they're always looking to like improve on stuff. But look, ah, well, let me catch up to y'all, man. I'm sorry. Let me catch. It's not football. It's tackle ball. What? It is a garbage sport too. Garbage sport. What is? Please, people are just weaker today. No, they're not weaker by stand. Like, all right, I don't know how old you are, so I'm just gonna speak for myself. Okay, I'm 51, right? And I've been told I'm quite exceptional for my age, character, physical, the way I move, right? A lot of men, I've heard it for a good portion of my life. Man, you're fortunate. And I look at them and I says, it didn't feel that way my whole life. Because when I was 17, I looked like I was 11. I had to tell the girl that I was 17. They laughed. Yeah, right. It took until I was 21 to grow a facial hair, like little peach fuzz, like that. I I was not Asian on the right, like my brother. My older brother by 15, he had a full beard. We used to tell him, don't shave it so you could buy beer for us or whatever, right? So they would drink pirate stock and shit, right? Me, nah, I was on that wino shit, the blackberry brandy back then, because the older guys drank it. So I thought I was cool, right? Anyway, so when it comes to hold up. When it comes to uh judging the standard of people are weaker today versus than back then, it went like a little bit like this. When we grew up back then, we had everything. Everything was given to you. When you bought something, it came with everything. You didn't have to buy uh other parts so separately. Back then is what I'm saying to you is when we were experiencing life, we were experiencing it and the raw, uncut version. That there was no pillows on the playground until these Karens, mothers started coming out, and dads, those other guys with the glasses and those their jeans all the way up here with the belt across them guys, right? Started babying their kids because they would come home with a bloody nose or something or scrape. So video games played another factor into it. But this is what happens in evolution. If your father worked at a steel mill or way back when, or farm life, country strong, or he worked for his money in building New York buildings, construction, masonry, you name it, labor jobs, things you had to be hands on with. With that, they worked to put their kids in better schools to become wrestlers, football players, etc. Through the lifeline of genetics, the next wave, we were coming out with something because of our grandfathers and fathers, forefathers. So we were coming out like boom. My generation, we look like a bunch of, we were just built like that, right? And throughout the generation, that once it started breaking down, we went from working hard to working at a desk and working in front of a screen. So when they started having kids, their kids started coming out like with flip flops. I'm just going to say that. Not a muscle on their body, but hunger cuts. Yeah, you cut up because you starving. That don't count. You don't work out. You don't got, they don't look like nothing. And I mean nothing. When I look at a young man now, like we're built different, but not so much weaker in a sense, because I said all of that to say this, that when you look at something weaker, the other thing is stronger in something else that you weren't. And that's just evolution. That's all it is. I don't think we were smarter. So what do you trade? Knowledge for muscle? Was it a good trade off? Where are you guys at? There was an era in time where you notice that the fight scenes between young men were getting worse and worse. If you was to see two young kids in a Chicago school, New York school, Philly school, Texas, Miami, back in the 80s, just two 12-year-old kids fight. And you happen to catch that on your little VHS little recorder at that time and watch two kids fight today. Jesus Christ. But the kids today are going places, most of them. They're shit. These kids is making YouTube money. Fucking most of them is online doing shit that it doesn't take power to do. So how strong are you? And how strong were they back then in comparison to you now? We might not be looking at it the same way. You might be looking at it physically strong, but they were way stronger. They're way stronger than the kids I remember that weren't going nowhere. Didn't have no opportunity like that. Shit, my social media was a beeper. If you call me 911, I got to a payphone and called you. I don't know who the fuck is in California or what style you got. The only way I found out is when I went on their vacation and I went wearing my clothes and you guys were dressed different. Yeah. Typically, they never saw my Nikes, but I never saw theirs. Then I realized all Nike does is sell this one out here first for 6 months and this one, and then they flip. And both of us think we just bought the next new hotness. Then you find out like that. Yeah. But nowadays, we all got on the same fucking page and got stupid. The more information we got, most of us got stupid too. That's the weird thing, right? But different eras, man. So you have at it. Would you rather be smarter and have more information at your fingertips or be stronger? I don't know. You have the option to do both today. You always have the option. There was more kids country strong growing up in my day than there is now today by far. Yeah. And the level of standard today is that even if you make it like at a fucking AAA level, the way that people will recognize you globally, if you had like that it factor, is incredible. I know boxers that have never even entered the ring on their pro debut and they got a buzz from their amateur. You couldn't do that in my day. That's why I wanted to fight in Border Wars, because I never had a televised fight. And I was like, yo, that shit'll be up at least on social media. I was like, word. I never got like that. You know, in our days, our coach would film it or our mom or somebody like that with their little tripod if you were fortunate enough to have one. You know what I'm saying? Um, and yeah, yeah. I never thought I would fight on a TV and shit. So I was like, fuck it, let's rock. I'm always up to a good fight anyway, sometimes, but not today. You know what I mean? But yeah. Where the fuck is Frontline? Where's Frontline? He's this guy is he's at his other job. He knows that this job right here, Round One Sports Talk, we pay him way more than he's ever made in any job. You know what I'm saying? He should just quit his job right now and come up here with us. Melassa says, I know Andy Cruz is going to win, and I want Andy Cruz's picture besides the IBF title. If you pay for an Andy Cruz picture, and be a nice one that we could probably put it in that corner, we'll put it up. But if you think I'm going to take my money and buy an Andy Cruz poster, you are out of your mind, because that would be taking my money from buying a real poster like Hector Camacho, Felix Trinidad, Miguel Cottos, a real poster. You know what I'm saying? One of quality. All right. So if you think I would go out my way to buy an Andy Cruz poster, no. And if you bought it, I'd give you a week or until he lost his belt. It'd be there until he lost his belt. All right. Like, we could put one like right here, real little small one. No, all right. You see the nail? Yeah, in a way. Now you guys know how I feel about that man. And he got a little picture. His picture didn't over exceed or get bigger than. No, it didn't. Right there. Well, that not necessarily true. Because if I had it my way, I might have bought a bigger one. They just wanted a lot of money for them fucking posters. $412. They had one for $1,200. I saw another poster for there was one for like $700 that was almost worth it. That shit was crazy the way they made that one. Hold up, let's check out the prices right now. I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right. See, all the small ones, they try to get you. They're like, Neil, yeah, you know, a poster right here. $25, right? Lie. That shit. Oh shit. Uh all right, hold on. All right, let's check this out. Let's go to the site. I'm gonna go to the website. Oh, that's dope. That's not fucking bad right there. How big is it? Sale ends February 1st. Are you This is not real, right? Oh, they're paper posters. They're not bad. They're not that good. They're not official. They're not official posters. Damn it, man. All right. Sports products. Where can I go to see another website, like a collectibles website? eBay. eBay posters. They be selling some shit. Like, look, let me show you here. Look, I'm sorry. I wanted to put this up. I should have put this up so that we could watch it. Hold up. All right, this is what I mean. See? This is like his real shit. They want 2,290. That's when you know you buying his real shit. You know what I'm saying? It'll say like uh what it is. Look, hold up. Oh, on my screen it goes bigger. On yours it didn't do that, right? See this poster? That's a poster. They want $2,300 for the fucking poster, bro. Uh let's see. He got his little this one right here. That's $56, right? But how big is it? Watch when the size. That's a paper one. 56. How big is it? 90%. Yeah. I don't hold on 1 second, guys. I That's $56. $56. That's a paper one. I'd have to I don't know. Maybe. I'm not too thrilled about that, but this card. The original picture of this is made out of a card. It's worth like $7,000. Some shit like that. Is that no Nito Donaire in front of them? Because if it is, they have like a card. We'll probably see it. This poster right there, they want $2,000 for it. These ones, they want. I went to this fight right here. They want 200 for this one. The original poster of the night. I seen these ones there. Okay, this one they want 2,000 for it. The newspaper they want $249 for it. If his freaking hat is $65. This shit right here, whatever this, yo, the ringside magazine belt with this 201. Some of this shit like this right here is fake. That right there, $2,000 poster, that's dope. That is dope right there. That is signed. That is dope. I'm looking at the autograph over here. Looking like at the intense, at the artistic, tongue tied. Let me close some of these. They had his boots, his boxing boots that he fought in. They had them on auction too. They had like his trunks. He him personally auctioned them off. The boots, I think his father did. Him and his dad were on the live or whatever, and they were doing it for charity or some shit like that. Yeah, and everything that they made off of it, they donated it to like a cause or something. Yeah, he didn't take none of the money. And then they, oh yeah, anyway, also did a lot of amateur like boxing, 3 rounds of headgear with 3 rounds of without the headgear, and all those fights. See, everywhere you look for this poster, this is the one I want. It's $2,000 everywhere. Like this is the lowest I think I found it so far. That's a lie. This is lie. I don't fuck with things like because I know how much this magazine's worth. That one comes with authenticity, bro. Damn. Like these sites right here, this right here, I don't fuck with that. This, nope, nope. This is his card. This is what I'm talking about. These are his cards. Even if I want a plain card from Naoya Inoue, this one right here, that's $395. That's worth it. It's got a 9 mint grade. That's his rookie card right there. Well, it's not his rookie because he got a belt, right? But it's his rookie as of being a champion. That's his first belt. It was the WBC, so that's his first belt. So that's 400, right? Okay, so that's 400. This one, what's this fight? See, I'm clicking on them and they're zooming in over here and they're just staying like that over there on your end. But that one's 400 too. What fight was that? Oh, he wore blue gloves. Isn't that the fight where he fought Ryuchi? I think it is. This magazine, this ring, this was like $200. Yeah, okay, I see the reduction. Didn't I tell you guys? Look at $1,139 for the Ring magazine. We just saw it over there. It said $34, right? And I told you, yeah, right. I know how much that magazine cost. Didn't I just tell you guys? Look at it. Look at it right there. Fuck it, man. You got to watch some of these fights. I mean, these sites. They try to sell you this, but it'd be fake. It'd be bootleg. That picture with Nonito Donaire, I was telling you. Look at this. You gotta be out your mind, bro. I just want to see if they got one of his rookie cards. If anybody's selling one of those, they're probably not gonna come up off it. Them shits is like $4,000, 7,000. I've seen them for 7,000. I've seen them for yeah. If you get and especially that fucking book. Damn. Anyway, that enough with him. Yeah, that's fucking. You know, that's why because that is actually official. That picture. In fact, it is not just your everyday picture of Naoya anyway. That's metal. You know that, right? That's metal. That's not paper. Look, that's metal painted on. And then he has like splashes of paint everywhere. The red dot up there, I put that. It comes from the Jordan 1s. And it's also the red dot of like Japan. So it's ironic that's one goat on a potential goat. You know what I mean? And I just used the red dot. So the red dot didn't come with the painting. But that's actually metal. Yeah. Like I say, like a lot of my stuff is like that's the Ringside magazine. This poster, I paid my sister paid, she gave me this as a gift. She paid over 120 something dollars for this poster. That one was a paper one my brother bought me. That was a cool one, but it's not the original of or even close to one of the original pictures. In fact, that is actually the second picture of that famous day. Yeah. The best poster in this same moment, you know, they caught it in like split time, like boom, right? But the photographer, he captivated these images. Now, if you pay attention to this Ali poster, are we back? Are we back? Are we back? I turned the thing and it unplugged the internet. So anyway, the one I'm talking about the moment, the good picture is like a tenth of a second. Just before that, he had his hand up like this. And he has that famous picture where he's like that. Well, this is the image, the photograph just before that he's putting his arm down. And that's the subtle difference in those two pictures and moment in time in history. And because of the fact that in the other picture, his arms up like this, that picture is more valuable. Yeah. And you can get it like this one. This is not, it's a poster, but it's not a paper poster. It's acrylic. It's like you can't stretch it. No. Uh it's like a canvas, like or like one of those, like if you take a picture and you put it on like a fabric, and it's well made. This poster is well made. Yeah. So shit like that. See, I want, if I was gonna invest my money, it's pretty cool to take anything from a magazine, cut it out, take a picture. That's good enough, right? But I'm a collector. I'm a collector, if you haven't noticed. And what I like to do is collect shit of, somewhat value. Some of these things are sentimental to me, right? And some of these things are like, I don't want to move the I'm gonna take a chance. It's gonna disconnect. All right, that's good enough. Right there. Cause my back plug to my internet, that little flippy thing to the it broke on my wire. So when it slides in and out real fast now. Yeah, I gotta get another. But if I get another wire, mind you, that wire that I have, that's 100-foot wire. That shit runs through my house all the way down to the box. Upstairs, it comes upstairs and then connects into my thing. So it's not like I gotta replace 130-foot wire or 16-foot wire or 4-foot wire. If I replace that wire, I gotta buy it and run it back down. That's why I'm a little lazy in just replacing that. If not, I would have replaced it a long time ago. If it was like plugged in from here to there, yeah, okay. No, I went and had it one line all the way down to the box. Made it real simple so that I'm direct. Yeah, and that little piece snapped. Shit. But anyway, guys, these fights right here, Raymond Muratalla, I can't wait for this fight card. Uh it just, it seems like a little bit in between right now with Sufa coming and all these little fights right now. Let's get the month started again. Cause I'm already jonesing. I'm already jonesing. Or is it because I'm coming off a big loss too? Right? I want my guy to fight because Xander's fighting on the 31st, and Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, they're fighting. But I also wanted to give my assessment and my breakdown too before I go on Raymond Mortaya, Andy Cruz, and who I think wins this fight and why. Okay. Um Typically I don't like to pick a guy, right? But I always see that I'm forced to because everybody wants to know, who do you got in the fight? Well, I have both fighters, right? That would be an scapegoat. That would be a cop out, you know? So, what do you really think, Edwin? And who do you think is going to win? To respect to both guys, I don't mean this to, there has to be a winner and loser. To the guy that I picked losing the fight, prove me wrong. Prove yourself wrong. And show us you're that type of fighter. That's all I have to say to that. To the guy that I picked to win, congratulations. But both fight in this situation, it's pretty even. For what one guy lacks in professional boxing, the other one thrives in. But the other one that has less professional fights, we feel is a bit more polished than the guy that has more. Rare in these kind of situations, yes, but this is what we have, and we have to read it as such. When it comes down to boxing, you have to understand that I think Andy Cruz is going to be dangerous for 4 rounds. You have to understand that you can't just break that amateur life for that long. Andy Cruz was trained year after year to fight strong for what? 3 rounds. His entire concept, whether he wanted to finish the guy or get to him, he had to learn how to play boxing at a fast. He was playing like speed chess at the amateur level, at the highest levels. Some tournaments, he was ahead of the curve and he was just wiping these guys down. When you start to go up in the amateur tournaments, you get the best of what the amateurs have to offer around the whole United States or, wherever you're from. And he's from Cuba, right? So what happens is he's going to get the best Cuban amateur fighters, which out there, they were very dangerous. So the kind of 3 rounds that he was fighting out there against other top Cuban fighters and that they've been fighting the same guys for years in circles, but he also was doing like this 6 round shit, I heard, amateur fights. So anyway, that's where his strength lies. Andy Cruz. I think you're going to see him look good. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to be at his most dangerous. If the 5th round bell rings and Raymond Muratalla is still there, it's going to be a different fight. Raymond Muratalla has been in trouble in some fights, okay? But he shows that kind of grit to learn how to know how to turn it on a bit late. In other fights, you saw a little different of a story. I understand what you're going to say. Trust me, right? But he looked good his last fight, Raymond. He looked good. He looked good. I'm not saying he looked the best he ever looked, but he looked good and strong. Andy, he's had his little shit, but like I said, his level of opposition, shit. So on the night they meet, pros and cons. Morataya he's gonna have to get Andy Cruz's respect. Know that he's gonna come on strong for 4 rounds. After that, Andy Cruz will settle in the fight. That's when he's gonna try to throw 1-2 combinations type shit. Uh in that time, he's gonna try to uh damn, I see this fight going a lot of ways. I think he's gonna try to really back up Morataya. You can't let Raymond Morataya open up on you like that. Um I think Raymond Morataya's best strengths, right, in the fight are gonna be on the inside with Andy. I think Andy is gonna be his best strength is setting up combinations off the jab, off Morataya. I think that both fighters are good, and I think that in a weird way, they're both on the same level. If you understand, if you could read between the lines, like in a weird way, they're on the same level. They really are. And that's what strikes me about this. That I don't really see. Like I see what the odds makers say, yeah, Andy can be a little bit more explosive, electrifying in a sense, you know. But I think Raymond is well coached. He's well coached. I'm not scared with Raymond and his team. No. But this fight is hard to fucking judge, man. It got me messed up. It really does. I don't know why people are not talking about this fight more. This is an interesting fight. When it comes down to boxing and the sweet science, This fight is like one of a conundrum. It's like meeting this dude, your friend, right? And seeing his younger friend come up, and you say to him, "Who's this?" And he says, "My uncle." How the hell is your uncle younger than you? Right? Somebody had another baby late in age, and somebody was having babies young. And all of a sudden, you're older than your uncle or your aunt. Situations that don't make sense, right? And from the outside looking in, it messes you up when you're a kid and you experience that for the first time. So let me get this right. You guys are cousins, brothers and sisters, right? And aunt and uncle. There's some explaining to do. Listen, stay away from me. Huh? Yo, there's just some situations in life that, you know, it's more than meets the eye. And in this right here, man, this Andy Cruz shit, this motherfucker got me more confused because Muratalla is good, but he's not elite. He's not an elite fighter. No. Can he be beat? Yeah. Is he undefeated? Yes. Has he really fought like the top? No. So he has a lot of answers. This guy got 6 fights. Yeah. He's fought mid-level competition. Yeah. He's never competed for a world championship. Yeah. Like, did you say 6 fights? Yeah. Like, and you're like, I'm sitting, but it's hard also when they're competition and you try to measure, okay, this guy fought this guy fought this guy. He does this well against him. He does this well against him. When both these fighters are actually finding their ways right now in boxing, their identity as a fighter. Muratalla just became the fighter he's now. He didn't fight like that his whole career. No, he didn't. He's developed into this fighter. I got to give him credit for that. How would he look against a slicker style? Makes me think. Makes me think. Then I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Andy Cruz's style, and I'm like, this motherfucker's lost. Like, I don't know what the hell you guys see or where the hype is sometimes, but he looks confused as a fighter. Not confused in the sense of what, like, he doesn't know how to fight. The man can fight. Confused in the sense of, who are you? Are you Andy Cruz or Jerome Butenis? Who are you? What style do you see? When Mayweather took over the Philly shell, it was no longer the Philly shell, it was the Mayweather shell. Because he didn't look like that, he looked better. So if you're gonna look like someone, at least look better than them, doing their shit. Don't do half their shit, half your shit in the middle of the fight. Like, who the fuck are you as a fighter? So, development. That's what I'm talking about. They're both exactly there. Raymond Muratalla, that's where he is in his career. Andy, ironically, is like there too. In a weird way, everything I would say to make this guy look better, I could say it about the other guy. Everything I try to break down on this live right now that I had like subtle pauses, like I'm like 2 steps in front of my head. I'm like, Edwin, you're gonna end up going around in a circle. In a circle. If you're not in the circle, okay, if you're outside of the circle, you gotta be inside of the circle. You know what I'm saying? To be complete. Right? Listen, I this fight is good, man. I like it. 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 I don't know why people ain't talking about it. You know, maybe they Americans, you know how we are. If you don't got a big name, and then we talk about like he doesn't have a big. Well, then if you support him and a little bit more, maybe he could get a bigger name. Now, don't you think? Right? So, as a matter of fact, as a matter of fact, no, if I showed you guys that, it would be showing you guys my information. I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't want to do no dumb shit like that. I was gonna show you the fights I was gonna buy and shit because I already got a plan on what I'm gonna be watching. I got I can have multiple screens if I break it up, of course, but I like to have the big screen, so I got three of them. So on the 31st, we're gonna have a busy day of fighting, and I was gonna figure out which ways I was gonna do as such. And since the Puerto Rico one is gonna be 1 hour um behind, right? So that means the Xander fight has the possibility of being over with, and then we can still focus without watching both fights go on simultaneously because I want to call all the fights. So in my fight party, I want to see how we were going to do it. I don't want, and then we're going to have to make a decision, probably, or I'm just going to make the decision if it happens that one fight overlaps. I just watch it, but not narrate it. And I'm going to narrate and talk about one or whatever. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So I was going to figure out right now and show you guys like my setup and how I'm going to buy this one here, this one, and then the one at the bottom like that. Got a lot of fights on the 31st. So it's a big night of boxing. I'm getting ready for it. Yes, absolutely. And I'm definitely excited for it. What's up, guys? Um, let's see here. Bobo's boxing says, and it's not football. Yeah, I read that a long time ago. On basketball, definitely weaker now. The basketball is definitely weaker now. I guess so. I'm gonna let that go. Don't run. You said something stupid and gotta accept criticism. People aren't weak. They are more smarter. I can do whatever I want. F you. Yo, you guys are arguing here? If people believe Keyshawn is that good, why not Andy Cruz? Good point. Good point. And Andy Cruz is undefeated against Keyshawn, ain't he, in his last like four fights, right? I don't know anything further back than that. Um, but he beat him when it counted in like the highest tournaments. And if you ask me, that's when it counted. Yeah. It would be like the same thing with Michael Jordan and Larry Bird. The argument that Larry Bird never lost to Michael Jordan in the playoffs. Michael Jordan never beat Larry Bird in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like that. But who's better? You get it? You know what I mean? So, yeah. Uh I'm not saying that Andy Cruz is fucking Michael Jordan. Don't go there, but he ain't no Michael Jordan, but they're always gonna say that. So until Keyshawn Davis rights that wrong and beats him in the pros, they're always gonna say that Andy Cruz had his number. You couldn't beat Andy Cruz, man, when it counted. Now we're in the pros. You're gonna have to answer that question. You feel me? So it was a troll comment. I don't even have to explain myself. I do it out of respect. Yeah. Also, commenting like that makes you just, oh my God, these guys are going at it. I'm going to let y'all do your thing over there. And here comes Bobo's like clockwork, putting his nose in shit. Hey, round one, what's up? Jackie Jimenez, what's up? These dudes is going at it. Sebastian Fondora, both strong and smart. Yeah. You know who's got a good head on his shoulders? Keith Cologne. That kid is still in college and in New York and Rutgers University. And he's boxing pro. He has a 9-0, 100% knockout ratio. And he's still going to school studying. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. You would think with all the intelligence and all the information at your fingertips that the world would have went and got smarter. We got dumber in a way that people that took it for the right reasons got smarter. People that took it for the wrong reasons got dumber. That's like a guy that never studied, never really uh and he just comes up with good ideas and heard something from somebody else and then looks up one thing and then comes up with a halfway decent answer. When people like that succeed, for some reason, they think they got a college education. Now, yeah, you might have had a good answer for one particular thing. That doesn't qualify you for being intelligent. But all of a sudden, you got all these college professors with fake degrees on the internet. Now they don't really have a degree. That's hypothetical. That's like, but this is what they assume in their mind, right? That they get up on the mic, they start talking, and it's because of this information we have, this vast at your fingertips. All I gotta do to sound smart is go, got it, and they don't think they gotta study. They don't think they don't got it. They can skip everything else because now they're smart. When just today I was damning Google today for looking up Andy Cruz. Yeah, I was like, fuck Google. Google will fuck you up if you don't double check or triple check Google's answers. Like the joke is, use Google, it's your friend. Bullshit. Fuck that quote from Ness. Bro, every time I look up Google, it like 60%, unless you careful, fucking with Google, you got to do your work 3 times. You know what Google told me today for the best Cuban fighter? Hector Camacho. I, I almost lost my mind. And Gronk told me that. The AI. Want to hear it right now with me? Come on, let's ask Gronk. Bro, it's right here still on the screen. If I'm lying, I'm dying. This is AI, Gronk, Google, right? Look, what it say right here? It says, now read it, right? On the top, my question was to chat AI, right? Best Cuban fighters. That was my question. They have on this line, wait, right here, Hector Camacho as one of the best Cuban fighters. You dirty mother. You Hector Camacho's Puerto Rican. So that's fucking with Google, bro. Chat AI, highly intelligence, advanced intelligence. Advanced intelligence, my ass. If you didn't know this, you'll report man mistakes from Google. I got a whole bunch of people. They don't know how to use it. Look at this article I read. Yeah, look at the bottom of the name of the article. It says Joe Schmo under there. Who the fuck is Joe Schmo? And what gives them credibility on that article? So your little Google search is bullshit. Bro, Google's for rookies, man. That's for rookies. And it only took me a week to find that shit out. You got to do real work. You got to chase shit down. That Sufa belt is ugly. I'm not sure if that's the belt. That belt don't make no kind of sense. Why the fuck that belt got like 6 corners? Our ring is not an octagon type shit. That shit is more catered to like Miss Martial Art. That belt. That belt don't make no sense. That can't be the Sufa belt. That had to just be a promo, and the belt might have had to just be an image of a product. But I hope that ugly looking belt is not the Sufa belt. The belt actually says Sufa on it, on the belt. It doesn't say world champion, box champion, Sufa on my belt. Did you guys see the metal clasp and the little octagon square on the round on the side of it? What are we fighting for? Fucking Conor McGregor's belt here? Like that belt can't be the belt, man. That can't be the belt. I'm not saying turn it into these, but let's be a little bit more boxing creative. In boxing, we wear like strings on our pants, shit that flares. Fucking, we got leather gloves, leather belts. Uh, we got flags, eagles. You know, notice every one of them is round. You know, the plate. Like, stop trying to change shit so dramatic, Dana White. That can't be the belt, bro. That shit is ugly as fuck. I wouldn't join Sufa just because I don't want to wear that belt. I don't want to be your champion. I don't want to represent that shit. It's got to look boxing tradition. I want the fur in the back with the leather. They all kind of like follow, except them. You know what I mean? Of course, WBC got to be. You know what I'm saying? Well, actually, the IBF and the WBO followed the WBA because the WBA is the first. And that's the WBA regular. They have another belt, the WBA Super. Gervonta Davis once had it, right? Gervonta, get back in the room. Shh. Close call. They almost saw you on the camera. Yes, I'll bring you up a popsicle and a juice pop. Just get over there. All right. Shh. Anyway, I haven't seen Gervonta. Anyway, so, and it has the 2 lions, the big lions. That's the Super WBA. Yeah. Well, damn, my brother. That's politic talking. I don't really want to talk politics, but you got me thinking a little bit. Like, I see your passion about saying putting dumb people in dumb places, but that's exactly what you're supposed to do in the way the world works right now. Unfortunately, you can't put smart people in these places, my brother. You do realize that, right? Why would you put a smart person that understood their job in a situation where that if he wakes up, he's going to realize what the world really is? You don't need a smart person. You just need somebody not to question you. You need a dumber person just to do the job. I didn't not going to expect you to do it right or wrong. Just do it and don't question me. A smart person is going to question me. If you start questioning the inner workings of United States of America, you know, you I mean, you do know that we're all prisoners like basically here, right? Like my mom, your mom, my dad gave birth to us and they gave us a number. It's called a social security card. And my mom bred us into a system. My mom bred me into a system. You know, I wasn't born on an island or free of anywhere else. I was an American. So here, nothing's free and you never own anything. You know that, right? So in government, they realize like one person, the thing with power, you can't stay in power too long. It corrupts you. So the people made the game where they understood that in America, not one person is going to control everything. That's why you got a shelf life for a mayor, a senator, and etc. Right? Okay. So if you understood where you're actually living in America, it would freak you out. You know, if you we're paying, we work to pay to live here, to never own anything that we're paying towards. We're never free. We got the highest lockout ratio in on the planet. We lock up the most people in the world. We have them captured one way or the other. If you're out and about, in order to live here, you have to pay taxes. Everything you leave here dies with you here. Someone else will take it as soon as you die. If you rise up against the American government, the next thing you're going to see is the American military. As you can see, there's no force on the planet that can mess with the American military. So say no, act up, act like you're going to, like anything you've ever done in America was yours. This is a very scary place to live in. You got to feed the machine one way or another. Whether you're a bum on the street or the richest person here, you're feeding the machine, right? So, not unless you defector from America, like some Americans, what do? They write that letter to the Congress and they remove your social security number and they kick you out. You're no longer American citizen. If you can't are no longer American citizen, then they don't own you, then you can't live here. The only way you can live here is what they're saying is they have to own you. Your social security number proves what sheep are American sheep. The cattle, how many people you have. There's Russian sheeps, French sheep, just to, and the cattle, the people that are controlling everything, got their sheep branded, which is me and you. If the military came today and wanted your house, there's nothing you can do. If the military walked up to you right now and was like, strip butt naked right now, you don't own none of that. What are you going to do? If you rise up, like, what would you do? Nowhere. We're bought and paid for by my mom and dad birthing me here for free they gave another to the machine. Now this is their playground, and the way they control it, everything here is basically, you're in America. So whether you do good, bad, great things, no matter what you do, that's what you're supposed to do here. They gives you all the options, do whatever you want, basically. But America ends up staying with it. All inventions, even people. What do they call black people? Black American, right? Like that. When you invent something, where you invented it in America, where does it stay? American, America. Like, they own us. So when you say all that dumb shit about putting dumb people in charge, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. If half these people woke up, they'd be like, we're prisoners. We're like, we don't own shit. Like, and we keep paying you, like, and we're happy about this. And like, nah, man, like, they don't want smart people in there. That'd be foolish. Just get somebody dumb enough just to do the job. Don't question me. Just do your job. That's what you want. You want that in the office. You don't want no smart shit, man. That's exactly the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into um of like government shit, because that's one thing we don't talk around One Sports Talk. It was just an interesting thing that he was saying. They put stupid people in play, and I was like, yeah, you're supposed to do that. Yeah, it's exactly what you want to do. The most qualified person, the most intelligent person is not always the person for the job. Mm-mm. They sometimes become liabilities, dangerous. They start to think for themselves. I don't want a guy to think for yourself. I want you to do what I ask you to do. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta be a little dumb for that. So that's how shit works in my experience. You know what I mean? So yeah. Google is your friend. Fuck Google, Boogie. Fuck Google. Fuck Google search. All that bullshit ass fake information. That's the fakest. Since the time that Ness said that to me, I've learned more fake shit on Google than anything. Yeah. Like today, like I showed you, you got to do research. Research is not just Google, it's a part of it. Yeah. Because it leads you to other things. Yes. And with it, you can start going down, right? But there's other browsers, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you right now, Google is a jungle. Google will accept most of the things of anybody will print. Any mistakes, errors, is up to you to figure it out when you go to Google to find it. Like I said, some dude that today, let's just say he's been using this AI software and it's never let him down. And he's a decent reporter. And today he's just cutting corners. He asks the AI, and for one of the rarest times the AI is wrong, he prints the article, and then some guy goes up on fucking a boxing show and he uses Google to get information, and then all of a sudden he's saying Hector Camacho is one of the greatest Cuban fighters of all time. Where'd you get that from? Google, I bet, huh? Fuck Google. Go do some real work. Chase shit down. Google's for like rookies. I'm starting to notice it. That's for like people that cover stories on the surface. Go to Google. I'm starting to see like the people that say go to Google, I'm going to question them. Because now I see you got too comfortable. You're no longer doing research. You're just asking Google and hoping that Google got the right answer for you. That's not good. When more than 30% of the time Google can be wrong, fuck that shit, bro. I'm going somewhere else. I found a new way to go look shit up. I found a new system. And if you don't know about it, I'm not telling you the sauce because no one told me. I had to figure this shit out. And now I realize Google is for rookies. In my field, for rookies. If you're using Google, you're in the Stone Age. Yeah. This is how you get information. This. See, because following these articles on everybody that writes a paragraph that has a fucking Wix page, right? You can't believe all that shit. You can't. Now, what I do is a bit more tedious, but once you start getting it down, it becomes easier little bit. See, I cover boxing. So I got to use Google in a different way if I ever going to use it now. But using this method right here is better because it's backed by different ones. See, in Google, it gives you everybody like individual go this one, this one, this one, this one. And out of 9 of them, 1 of them will be credible. The other guys are just copying, printing what they saw the original guy that did his real work. And since he's credible, they all look at him and go, he's credible. But what happens when the guy in front makes a mistake? Then that's when they all reveal themselves. Because if they report the same shit, that means they were just copy printing. Then you see who's really doing their work and who's not. That's how that goes. That if the guy in the front that's really there with the people, rubbing elbows with the promoters, one of those guys, right, makes a mistake and the rest of them make the same mistake, you know who's doing their real work and who's working on Google. You feel me? But this way is better because I'm looking for individuals. So not only am I breaking down like sources, because you see, even Wikipedia's off sometimes. Even Wikipedia's off. Like, I've seen some things be off in Wikipedia or not updated. Right? It depends who's like, right? But you gotta be careful when you search on Google. It's more than once since I've been going there trying to get information. The most I see in Google, because I know what I'm looking for, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, I hope the people are not taking this information as accurate. That name says Joe Schmo wrote that article. Who the fuck is Joe Schmo? Like, there be guys that got no credible sources, no, like, they're not qualified to even say that, but they got no problem making it look professional with a picture on a page. And then somebody come back like Boogie. Yo, Edwin, you read this shit? I'm like, take your fake ass in some article out of here. Like, That should be crazy. You gotta fact check shit. I figured out different ways. I like my way better. This is everything I need for your everyday sources. All four of these sites is where I go. Mm. What day is it? Tomorrow. Oh shit. All right. Well, fight fans, we got a lot of boxing coming up. We got a lot of boxing. We got this super. Are you guys gonna want to watch this super shit with me? You guys want to watch it? Or you guys that don't give a fuck about it? Let me know what you guys think about this super stuff. Let's start talking about these fights we're gonna watch together and which one you guys want to see the most. You know me, I'm gonna like I gotta cover like what I can. Uh I want to get more of these UK fights into some of these guys because eventually some of these guys are going to be either household names or crossing the pond. You know, I want to see. And I don't know how you feel about Jayo Bataya. I don't know what you guys think about him. I don't know how hardcore you guys are as boxing fans. But I can really test your boxing knowledge on this Sufa card. Um, there are some good fighters on this card, and it's going to be a good card overall, to tell you the truth. Um, and a lot of those guys, those type of guys on those cards, is what I want you guys to get familiar with as well. The new talent coming up, the next wave of boxing. Now, whether like Callum Walsh or what's his name that just beat Smith, Dalton Smith, that just beat Subir Matias. How long is their reign? What will they do? What's the next step in the evolution of UK boxing and that side of the world? You see what I'm saying? Naoya Inoue, he's aiming, I still think, on course to fight Junto Nakatoni in Japan. If any of you guys know anything about the updates or anything about Naoya anyway, I always like to hear something, but I haven't really heard anything new, different. I heard a little conflict that there was a hiccup in negotiations, but once again, that was from an article from a source I can't really back. One of them Google shits, right? And I read the article. I know what the guy's saying, but uh I can't like say that that's definitive or true. So, or that the argument with they're saying with Naoya Inoue's promoter or Sha I can't say his name I'm sorry correctly. Um and that he had said that there's been a hiccup in the Junto negotiations, and that this hiccup actually happened before the night of the samurai fight, which both of them were on the same card. Naoya Inoue was the main event, and Junto was the co-main event. Remember where he for Hernandez, Junto. So they were saying that in some of these interviews that I'm seeing, I mean, well, not interviews, articles that I'm seeing, that they were saying that the negotiations started to fall apart back then, which I'm not sure if it's true or false. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I would have to like get in contact with somebody credible from Japan that I could really like boom, or like one of their major Japan like newspapers would say it. Somebody credible that can back that story up. Then I would be like, okay, something's wrong here. But until I can get that, rather than some dude just like me, I can give you what I know, Yes, I'll give you what I know. I'll give you facts. I'll break down fighters. I'll give you my opinions on the fights. I'll do my due diligence. I work. I'm always in boxing circles, so I try to do my part, right? And it's tough in this world getting information because it pisses you off when the information's good 5, 6 times. It's that seventh time you go to that same place to look for it, and it screws you over, and if you don't know your stuff, you can get caught. Like I said, like I showed you, AI had Hector Camacho. I was in the thing, best Cuban fight. It had like the first three. It said like Teofimo Stevenson for Cuban fighters. It had like Chocolatito. Um, it had like Gu- um, which is the most popular one out here. Um, um, how was his name again? Fucking Gutiava Ele. How do you say his name? You know what I'm talking about, the Cuban fighter, right? Which is probably one of the most popular out here, like that we would know about, I guess. I don't know which ones you know or what I know, right? Whatever you know. But yeah, yeah, and the AI had the first 3 or 4 Cuban guys. It was banging them out, boom, boom, and the Hector come out. Jesus Christ, it's that one time that you go there and fucking. No, I'm not interested in that. And the Sufa one, nah. Kid Chocolatito is an old, famous Cuban fighter. Yeah, yeah. They had, like I showed you the thing. It was popping off. The first 3 ones were great. It's on point until AI fucked up. And I was like, yo, AI, you be tripping. So it's good to back your own work. It's good to back your own work. I still go to Google for a bunch of shit, but there's certain shit because every time I go there, I gotta double check the work that Google gives me. Now I know. Now I know for being wrong sometimes and being like called out because I'm sitting there saying, I got this shit from Google. And then I realize, fuck, I could have been wrong because the information I got from Google in the first place was wrong. So it depends where you look in Google because there's a lot of credible sources that are right. But if you look for the credible source on Google, you're going to be right. Yes. The problem is they give you so much options and there's so many fucking different of one article about the same topic, right? And who's to say as a fan, one guy takes one article from here, one from here, and at the end of the day, it's who wrote the article and how good is the story. We saw a lot of stories that were published that were bullshit, fake news. You know what I mean? We saw a lot of stories published about boxers that if you went to Google to this day will still lie to you. Go to Google right now and look up Manny Pacquiao. It's gonna say 8th division world champion. We're most of us are past this. We know that's a lie. Where do you find that? Google. If I can't trust the fucking, you got to do a bit more searching. Yep. You got to break that shit down and break down the breakdown. Sometimes it seems like a waste of time. It really does. Well, fight fan, I'm about to wrap this up because I'm gonna go on at 7:30. We gotta talk. I didn't go on yesterday. I don't want to kill the same topics because we're gonna be getting to the fight. Maybe tonight I'm gonna do like a film study on a few boxers. I wanted to do a film study on Mike Tyson, sit there, watch some of Mike Tyson's old highlights, and really appreciate these kind of fighters and stuff versus the fighters we have today. I want to do film study on them too, but I get copyright mostly when I do the guys of today. I noticed that. So they'll sometimes let me get away with it. I got to pause it, talk about it, film. I wanted to do something about fighters. Like, what fighter, what is one of the fighters you would like me to break down and talk about? you know, and we could do that. We could like set up like on a Thursday or something. It'd be like every Thursday. And the most fighters' names that I get or something, I'll do one on that guy. Whoever wins, and we'll do a poll or something. And we'll sit back and we'll film study and we'll look back at a guy's career or something like that. And we can do that. We can talk about boxing rather than coming on every day and keep talking about the same set of guys that it seems like most people want to talk about. But yeah, we could definitely like. So I want to come back on at 7:30. I'm gonna go get myself something to eat. Channel down here, come up with another topic, something else we want to talk about in boxing. Cut it out, man. He was an 8 division champion. Oh my God, we got one of those in here. I'm sorry, guy. There's still people out there in the world that believe that. I didn't think them guys were around anymore. There has to be a couple of them still lingering, right? Because that shit was heartbreaking for me when I did my story and shit. I was all that was me. That he sounds like me. I was like, "Hey man, he's champion. He's the 8 division world champion. You can't argue with me." And the guy said calmly, "Pull his boxing record. Show me all his belts." I knew he had me because he was too calm. I'm like, "Manny Pacquiao, he got 8 divisions." He was like, "Yeah, show me." Boy, that ain't go over too good. I lost, and I was stuck with the truth in front of my face. I said Max Callahan from ESPN, the worldwide leading in sports, did a fucking documentary on Manny Pacquiao, dog. He said, "Did they ever show you all the divisions? Or they just kept repeating he was an 8 division world champion?" Then I started scratching my head. I was like, he just kept saying he was in 8 division. He was like, right. Why didn't he break down where he won the belts at? Why you think he didn't do that, Edwin? I was like, because he doesn't have to, because that's Max Callahan. He's forgot more about boxing than you know. That's fucking Max Callahan up there. I believed every word he said. And then the guy said that I was talking to, he said, okay, once again, Edwin, all I want you to do is pull up Manny Pacquiao's resume. And I did. Do I still got it up here? Do I still got that picture or did I take it down? Let me see, because I'll pull it right up here again. I would have to go to my archives and bring it up. I don't want to do this for this guy. This is so heartbreaking. I remember when I was him, I was heartbroken to find out the truth. And at the end, at the end, I was left with two choices: the truth and the lie. The lie, I liked it better because it made Manny Pacquiao Superman. 8 divisions, the only human on planet Earth to do eight. That when I first heard that, I was like, 8 division? That's Superman shit. I don't think a robot can do that. A real robot. I don't think he can do that. But Manny Pacquiao somehow did it. So I viewed him like a Superman. So I had the truth and the lie. Once I uncovered the lie for myself, like I went to his um to his to all his awards, all his belts, everything. And I made the chart. WBA, the chart went WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO. And I put down all the weights he won official belts. Then underneath were all his minor belts, the intrams, the gold, the diamond. Those are not belts. Then he had the Ring magazine and the lineal belts. He had 5 divisions in just these 3 alone. He had 5 divisions with the IBF, the WBA, and the WBC. He had 5 divisions where he separately won major world titles in those 5s. What happened is when you get to his WBO world title, he won 3 WBO titles, all in 147 pounds. He won 3 WBO in the same weight division, 147. The problem is your WBA world title is a 147-pound champion. So the minute you got the WBA, it doesn't matter how many WBO belts you get. You can only count the division once. For example, Canelo Alvarez has all 4 belts. Once upon a time he did, not anymore. But he had all belts at 168. Count how many times a champion he is at 168. How many times? 1. You can have 4 belts. You can lose all 4 belts, gain all 4 belts back, lose them again, gain 1 individually. You still only have 1 weight division. That's it. You don't need all 4 belts to be called that division's champion. All you need is 1. But the minute you get 1 there, you could go back to that division 25 times and win belts. It doesn't mean you're a 25-time division world champion. No, you just won 25 belts in 1 weight division. That's it. So all his belts in 147 for the WBO don't count. Once you eliminate those, you can't count any of the intrams, and the ring belt and the lineal don't count. Because the only belts we're talking about are the alphabet boys. Okay? And if the Ringside magazine, it doesn't have the same rule structure as the common belts, meaning the Ringside magazine, where's your ranking system? You're using our guys. The Ring magazine belt doesn't exist without them. They don't say it's a 5-belt era. They say a 4-belt era. In Mike Tyson's time, Mike Tyson didn't need the WBO to be undisputed. He only had 3 belts. But he didn't need that ring or the lineal. With just the 3 belts he had, he was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. So the ring doesn't help you, neither does the lineal. You have to get 8 belts in 8 separate weight divisions, and all 8 of those belts have to be major world titles. That's the qualification for being called an 8-division world champion. Now, I want to remind you, if you go back crying and you say to yourself, hey, no, this guy's crazy. You got to count this. Just remember that if you do it for Manny Pacquiao, you got to do it for everybody else, which brings into question, hey, we were just talking about Hector Camacho. Hector Camacho has 7 belts in 7 weight divisions. Yes, he does. The problem is he only has 3 major belts in 3 divisions. 4 of those other divisions, he got minor belts in. But he did fight in 7 weight divisions, Hector Camacho. And he did get minor belts. So if you award, and I mean any of that, for Manny Pacquiao, you're talking about you would have to change the boxing history books for everyone else and open the floodgates to keep him an 8 division world champion. So once again, you're faced with the lie and the truth. And I always thought that the truth would set you free until I came up to days like this, where I actually met men and women that buried the truth and kept promoting the lie. They didn't want to accept it. And they talked like whatever they thought or said was law rather than facts. The facts is Manny Pacquiao is a 6 division world champion. That's the facts. And the fact is, with having 6 division world champion, it makes him probably the greatest boxer of all time. In the history of boxing, there's only 2 people that did that. Manny Pacquiao and Oscar De La Hoya. He's got 5. So Manny Pacquiao is already beating him. Why make up 2 more divisions? He was getting knocked out, and his star status was so big that you had to match a boxing career with that kind of star. I guess they were forced to make Superman. And they kind of weren't lying. He did fight in 8 divisions. He actually did. He just didn't win 8 major world titles. He has the titles to back the claim of 8 divisions, but they're minor belts. It's like a WBC gold or diamond, right? And I'll never forget that day when Manny was confronted at that award ceremony, whatever it was, and Manny's expression on his face, like they fed Manny Pacquiao. This is not Manny Pacquiao's fault. This is your promoters. And Manny Pacquiao just thought that the boxing world was going to award those belts, and Manny Pacquiao went along with it. And when that guy ever cornered Manny Pacquiao in and said, "You're not an 8 division champion," Manny Pacquiao said, "Yes, I am." He said, "No, you're not. You're a 6. He said, "You don't got any belts here." And Manny was like, like he was like, you could see it in his face. Like he was taken back because somewhere they even convinced him this is not Manny Pacquiao's fault. This is the machine's fault that wants to keep you engaged in your star, or when your star falls, how to get him back up. Manny Pacquiao got knocked out and he was going through a bad period in his career. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and I mean out of nowhere, all of a sudden, Manny was just going through his career, fighting. Just literally out of nowhere, just a big story broke. Hey, by the way, you guys know that Manny Pacquiao got 8 division world. Like out of left field, it happened. And that's what happened. You gotta be honest. If you want to know the truth about something, go do your research. Look it up. And you're gonna be caught off guard, man. I can't, since I've been doing this job here, I can't tell you how many things I've looked up that I've been lied to, and I felt kind of foolish because I was up there arguing with people. Nah, man, this is that. It's not true. It's not true. You can't count those ring belts, ring magazine. It's exactly what it is, a ring magazine belt. It's not a fucking world title. It's a ring magazine. Might be prestigious. Yes. Very popular. Yes. I would be proud to have that belt. It's a good belt. Ring belt. It's a good belt. But call it for what it is. It's not a world title. No. But it's an honorable belt. Yeah, man. It's like the best fighting the best type shit. But it's just not a world title. It's a trophy that goes around your waist. Actually, what it is. It's a trophy recognizing your dominance. That's what it is. It's a trophy that goes around your waist. That's all it is. That's why they never changed it, because the model was it's supposed to kind of favor a trophy. So they got like a plaque like this with chains and shit, because that's what it was supposed to be. But they wanted the champion in that time to feel like a champion. So they designed the trophy into a belt type shit. It was a fucking magazine. The news, the Bible of God publishing, like Oscar de la Hoya owned that company. Then he sold it to Turkey. Like, when's the last time somebody sold the belt? No, and a literal belt is invisible. It's basically just a title. When have you ever seen a literal belt? What does it look like? Yeah, that's what I thought. So you're going to take an invisible fucking belt, a title, and try to argue with me that what, Manny Pacquiao, what, got some literal, bro, great achievement, great award, but don't be that guy. Please don't be that guy, except play the game correctly. Stop cheating in Monopoly. We're talking about the real belts. Get those. I don't want anything else. Doesn't count. Ring don't count. Don't do that. Because if you do that, there are other guys out there that have better ring runs. All of a sudden, you're going to have to give Teofimo Lopez, like these guys that had these ring belts in multiple weight divisions. Why? Just to prove your point with Manny? By doing that, somebody's going to come out fucking 11 division world champion. Somewhere. Trust me. And because that's what they're going to let you do, argue your case for Manny Pacquiao until you win. And they go, all right, you know what? You win. We're going to count the ring. We're going to count that literal. And we're going to count his minor belts. But since you did it for him, we're doing it for everybody else. Manny will probably be the last person now. You know how many guys fought for lower belts than Manny? Minor belts? They weren't good enough to get world championships. You're giving the minor guys credit now? He'd be in last place. Manny wouldn't even be in the conversation. There's probably a guy out there with 13 minor belts and 13 world divisions, I bet. We can't do this, guys. We got to judge it right, and that's the God honest truth. That's it. He's not an 8, but he's still a 6. The 6 still makes him the GOAT. So the argument is really pointless in a way, because even though I argue that he's not an 8, still makes him a 6. He's not unique. No, because there's another man in the room, Oscar. See, being unique in an accomplishment in boxing would be that you would be in the room by yourself. By awarding him 8, he would have been in a room by himself. Always got to beat the great American, right? So, all right, so what? He's not unique. So what? Right? But he's still fucking atop amongst the greatest boxers of all time. Only 2 people did that. So he's still probably one of the best fucking goats. You know, he's a small goat. Manny, he's a smaller goat. Um, but he is a goat for that. Oscar's a goat too. You better believe it. You know, Trinidad, I mean, Sauk, Julio Cesar Chavez beats him because of his reign, Oscar's reign. But Oscar got the gold medal. Oscar's the golden boy. So as far as accolades, Oscar got like, yeah. But as far as Manny Pacquiao's story goes, uh sometimes the argument is sometimes not even worth it because it still places him amongst the best fighters in the world, even when it's all said and done. But like I said, I understood why they did it. I did. I understood why. Yeah. Yeah. But hey, that's why I like reporting boxing, bro. That's why I like reporting boxing because boxing pushes you into a place where you can't trust everything you see. It's one of the only sports that you could say something outrageous and nobody will lift an eye. They won't. Uh, like I said, if you was to say tomorrow, LeBron James got 8 rings in the NBA, the internet will crash in an hour. It would truly crash down. The people they wouldn't the NBA world they don't let nothing like that go by. Them motherfuckers are so hard up on analytics. You couldn't get away with that there. You can't get away with saying some shit like that about baseball neither. No. But boxing, you could say almost anything you want in boxing and get away with it. Yeah. Because it's going to be up to the person to look it up. Because all they do is give you half truths sometimes. What do I mean by that? When they announce Javante Davis in the ring, how do they announce him? Here's the 135 world champion. Half truth. Are they lying? Technically, no. But yes. Why? Because at the time you had the regular belt. That's not, you don't have the super. So you're not the champion, but you got a piece of a championship. So they have the right to call you champion. They don't got to explain that you're not the super champion in a fight. Half truths. They exist in boxing every day. That's the way boxing is. It's been like that forever. Half truths, always. When you watch boxing, they show you an unofficial scorecard at the bottom. Does that count? No. Half truths. You can do and say almost anything in boxing, bro. But it's just going to come a day when somebody's going to call you out on it. Someone's going to do their research. Someone's going to do their homework eventually. And if somebody wants to call you out on a particular topic, they will. So you better be ready with facts to combat what they're going to say. Because if you go off face value with boxing, I'm starting to see this. That some of the top stories in boxing, some of these things, clickbait, trolling, some half lies, half truths, that's boxing. And that's what I've learned through my years in here. 6 years on this channel. And in my 6 years on this channel, I got to tell you, I've done a lot of fucking research and I found out a lot of stuff. And I'll be honest with you guys. There's things about boxing I found out I don't deem necessary to tell you. It's just going to hurt boxing. You know? There are things in boxing I will reveal because the statute of limitations has passed. Like the Manny Pacquiao situation, when I talk about it, it might hurt for some people, But we need to heal already. We need to get past that shit. We need to get past that. Like shit like that, like, that's not new. If you look this up, that I'm not the first person that realized this. The top channels now, they've all backed up on their stories already. If you're late to the party, okay, cool. I understand, right? Um, you've just found out Elvis died yesterday. I get it. There's just some people like that. I'm not caught up to everything in the world neither. Hit me. But as far as like some things in boxing, I got to admit, sometimes I find shit out. I'm like, man, I can't say that shit because it's just not the right time and right place because we're supposed to be promoting boxing. We're supposed to be talking about these fighters. We're supposed to be healing in a lot of these situations that the boxing world put us in. And so, I like to educate, but I like to educate, but in a way that doesn't hurt us. There will be a time where you'll hear me talk about some things later, you know, when boxing can take it strong enough to take it. When boxing is strong enough to take it, then certain things I'll say and certain things I won't. You know what I mean? Because some of these things have to do with the fighter, but not with boxing. Like I really don't want to know about who you're dating, who you're cheating on with, what you're drinking or what drugs you're on or what you're doing. I'll talk about that shit later. That's just gonna hurt boxing, bro. You know what I mean? Why do I want to get up here and be like, this guy's doing cocaine in a bathroom while banging this guy and his wife said, I understand that you can get clicks and views for that. I get it. But they can do that over there, man. And I know they'll get thousands more views and clicks than I will for just keeping it pure, just boxing. I get it. But I don't want to be that guy. Maybe later on I'll talk about situations. Man, this guy was going through this during this time and this and this and that. But when it's going to hurt us, like, are it just going to hurt the sport? Like, sometimes I choose not to report those things, but if it's like has to do with like in the ring skills type shit, and this guy got his arm broken or something, I'm going to report that. Okay. And it's nothing like that. But I just feel that some of these things that we report nowadays can really damage and hurt boxing. Yeah. So we got to be careful with some of that. Some of these things we just got to heal from. Some we just got to put in the back and go forward. You know, Ali, man, you're never coming back, bro. And Floyd, your time is over. Let these kids shine now. You know, like get out of the way. Let somebody else live, and like things like that. So yeah, yeah, definitely so. Like we just gotta heal as a community and watch these great, amazing fights we're getting now on the 31st. So fight fans, love you guys. Um, Max Callahan, he's a fucking Max Callahan, man. He was Boogie. He was like one of the dudes I watched the most. That dude knows a lot. And the one thing I had to realize was somebody pointed this out to me. As soon as he said it, I was like, oh shit. And I realized that Max Callahan's at work. Even though he's working for ESPN or all the networks he's bounced around throughout his impressive career of broadcasting and journalism for Max Callahan, right? That once this was pointed out to me, he's reading off a prompt monitor. He's working. You work for ESPN that pays your check. We pay you to read that prompt monitor. I don't pay you to ad lib, to add things. In the board meeting, here's your script. for the day. Now read it. And even though Max Callahan at times probably didn't believe half the shit that he was reading, he had no choice. They paid his paycheck. They went and bought Max Callahan's image and his knowledge about boxing. And then no sooner that they got him up there, they put him in handcuffs. Now read this. Say that. And it kind of hurt his credibility. I know at times that shit probably hurt him saying half that shit, but he had to read what was coming off the prom monitor. He couldn't just be like, this is bullshit. Ryan Garcia's not that good. Blah, 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 blah. No, he had to read. Ryan Garcia is one of the best boxers we have today. One of the superstars of today's era. He had to read that shit. They bought Max Callahan. Max Callahan made himself who he was. They bought him. He was credible, informative, knowledgeable. His brother was also a boxer that was killed by another boxer. I would never mention that piece of shit guy's name on my show. And if you mention it, I want you blocked, kicked off, and I hope we never speak again. Okay? That dude that killed Max Callahan's brother, nah. Right? So, they knew what Max Callahan had created and the kind of figure he was. They just bought him. They bought him. And once I understood that, I was like, damn, Max, I wasn't mad at him no more. Cause that for a moment there, I thought for a long time Max Callahan fucking fell down and bumped his head. He used to say some shit about boxing I would have never heard that man say. Till I realized what was going on. Somebody pointed that out. Yo, Edwin, you know he's reading off a promometer, right? They don't pay you to think, ESPN. They got guys that are smart too. And you come in, Max Callahan. This is Max Callahan's paperwork. This is him in the morning. And then this is the people reviewing his paperwork. You know how they come with the red marker? They tell you what you can and not do. Max Callahan. I want to say this about this guy. Max, that looks great. But can you take this, 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 and this out? You can read the rest. He can't just go up there and say whatever he wants. What do you think? They let that shit go off the top of his head like I'm doing right here? That's not where he's at. When he used to be able to do that, that's when you heard the real Max. And he was like, that's when a lot of people gravitated because they knew when he talked, he knew what he was talking about. Soon as he went into those high corporations, them big offices, they bought him. Yo, I bet you he would cry sometimes in his car. I can't believe they had me say that shit. I bet he would cry in his car. Bro, they had that man say a lot of shit. And his credibility soon started, in the boxing world, started to fall apart. A lot of like top coaches and trainers. Max is back there. Yo, guys, I had to say it. They made me read. Come on, man. They giving me $1 million to read a year. You got to read it. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, that's right. If you want to silence Round One Sports Talk and have me read off a prom monitor, well, then I want 1.7. You know what I mean? Yo, I got a family too. That's when you make it to the big time when ESPN calls you. But you got to sell your soul. Is it worth it? I wish I could sit here and say, I would never do that. Damn, that's a lot of zeros. Damn. Yo. I'm in. I'm in. Yo, listen. Yo, you fucking sellout, Edwin. You would read off a pump. Bro, I wish I was as noble as I learned that in my life. Before you think you're a certain way, do you really know yourself? Like I remember when I was young, I used to speak like fast. Hell no, I'll never do that. Yo, 90% of the shit I said I never do, I end up doing. It's fucking remarkable. I would never do that. Bro, I learned how to say, let me stop saying I'll never do that. Because soon I'll be riding a pony barebacked, riding through the desert. Like, yo, don't say you'll never do that because it's just a matter of time now. Like, really. And it's like I learned to be like life humbled me. It really did. So time I thought I was a bad motherfucker. Whatever. Right? Fuck that guy. I don't want to bring that guy up. The old me, fuck him. Right? So this is a new me, right? You know what I mean? We're reinventing ourselves. You know what I mean? Uh so so um what was I saying about that? I started thinking about my own self and shit. But I used to keep it real until I understood life. You fucking right. Keeping it real get you fucked up. Dave Chappelle showed us that when keeping it real goes wrong. She went from eating fruit cocktail in her living room to getting her face stomped out by fruit cocktail and stay prison. Keeping it real gone wrong. Like, listen, and like, yeah, I still keep it real, but yeah, you just mature, grown up. Like the world taught me that. The world taught me like, not to. I would love to think that in some situations I would be noble, honorable. At the end of the day, life is for life. You have reservations for yourself. The only reason why a human's ever um the reason why a human shares is because they have an abundance. The reason the soonest that becomes rare, you don't share no more because you don't have enough to go around. So you're kind, you're nice when you have enough. But let you have less. Let you have just one bottle of water left and one slice of bread. And let somebody come up with a family, 3 kids and an infant. They want water. How giving are you? See, you'll find out, I guess, right? But I stopped saying that shit. I stopped saying shit like, nah, I would never sell out. I would never do this. I would never do that. Life taught you. It showed you. Hmm. So I don't know if I would have sold out for that much money like Max Callahan did. And I'm not saying he sold out. I'm saying he made something of himself. Somebody bought his product. That congratulations. That's a fucking amazing. Hey, in this world sometimes it's said that not a lot of people can be themselves. They're always trying to be the person in front of them or the person behind them. Tell you the truth. But the world doesn't allow you to be you. Very few people in this world that can be themselves. Yeah, tell you the truth. You either go to work, you're nice, kissing their ass, the boss. You go home, you have a little sense. You don't want to treat your wife like shit, right? So you go there and you go out into public and people are doing things out there and to fit in, you do things with them or You see another person, you copy paste their image and their what they're doing to try to be something like them. But it's very, very few people in this world that can be themselves and like being themselves. You could be yourself, but you might not like yourself. You could be yourself, might like yourself, but in a bad situation. Like it's 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 real rare when you meet someone that's like that. So it's at least in the business world anyway. I should have cleared that up too. I'm talking about in a business sense, not just like in everyday life. Like people walk around being themselves all the time in everyday life. But in this business sense, it's that's where my mind's at. My I should have said that. That in this business, there's not a lot of people that can be themselves. No, so Max Callahan, he had to like, I guess, fucking become them. I mean, that's your choice. You have a choice. You do have a choice. So, anyway, but yeah, not a lot of these guys can exist entities. Usually, when you get real high, up there in the field or anything in life, somebody comes and buys you out to control you what you built, your product. If your product is good, eventually they'll buy it. You know, like Coca-Cola will come and buy Pepsi or Mountain Dew or this and that, or fucking offer 50 cents, fucking bottle mineral water, and then they add it to their things. But somebody else built it, they liked your product, they offer you an outrageous amount of money and bought you. Now that is credible because now it's part of our umbrella that we're successful. It's kind of like everything in life. You you know what I'm saying? So not a lot of those characters like Showbiz was talking about it. Shout out to Showbiz. Showbiz didn't take the deal that the zone wanted. One, he said the money, and two, they might have changed them. Ness says the same thing. If they buy Ness, Ness said, I don't want to stop smoking on TV. He says, I'm strong enough of an entity that I could be me. And I saw Ness's show, the TBV, the boxing voice, and I said to myself, you're fucking right. He does exist by himself. He does pretty good for himself too. And he can smoke. Like there's certain YouTube channels that are still smoking, drinking on. They got like this what is it? Shit on this Nazi cigar talk. There's no cigars. They never got cigars anymore. Like you're supposed to be like, ain't that right? But and fucking Noriega and them, they had a nice one where they had the people come up, they be drinking, blazing. Like those shows, they can be themselves. There's real small platforms like that. Yeah, I can't even be myself. I can't even light up right now on my own show because YouTube will probably like cut my views down. Yeah, I don't like Nez told me about that. He was like, yo, you gotta stop smoking. I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah. He was like, because you don't have a big enough following or big enough thing that you can sustain yourself. And I was like, you're right. You're right. Look at even YouTube takes 33%, 30% of all my money that I make here. And they're like, yeah, you can get YouTube money, YouTube streets. And they tax me for my money. It's like I'm paying YouTube just to be here. We can't be ourselves. We can't. I wish I could be myself. I have a lot more of this and a lot more of this, baby. You know what I mean? Because if you let me be myself, I want thousands of gold bars right here. You know what I'm saying? That's being myself. I'm a bit flashy. I'm a bit flashy. Right? But anyway, boxing fans, love you guys. Love yourself. Don't forget Chavez Jr. fighting tomorrow. You guys want to watch that? Yeah, fuck it. It's the 22nd. It's 1 o'clock now. I gotta get off right now because my daughter's about like the kids are gonna start coming. But yeah, we can do that. We can do that. Fuck it. We'll get on and we'll talk boxing. So fight fans, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, become a Round One Sports Talk member. Support me in my journey of covering boxing. And I'll be back tonight. I'll see you guys on the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Peace, gentlemen. See you tonight, guys.